Once again it happened. Instead of one art journal page, I made two because I had some leftovers, and there is gonna be even another film with a third art journal page I made in between, and with such a cool technique and the effects I wasn't even dreaming about. Hi everyone, it's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation, and today I'm making art journal page slash two art journal pages. I'm taking the page of mixed media paper from my butterfly art journal, and there was some transfer from other pages I've done, some kind of paint or ink which went through, and so I removed it with mono eraser. I am using my stencil, but guys, beware, this is not a stencil which is called dotted. I kind of didn't notice that I mixed up the names. This is a stencil which is called Running in Circles, and I'm using also infusion Royal Blood. I am putting it on the palette, adding a little bit of water, and I'm gonna do a negative stenciling. So that's what you would do probably when you do first the normal way of stenciling, and then you have some leftover and you just flip the stencil over and do negative stenciling. I didn't want to start with the proper way of stenciling. I just said to myself, I'm gonna try that. So straight away I kind of dip the stencil in the paint, as you've seen, and I put it on the paper. So this is negative one because you don't actually get the same effect as you would if you were putting the paint through the holes. You would get basically circles. That's why I called it Running in Circles, and I made it kind of like other way around, negative stenciling simply. And I'm taking acrylic marker from ARRTX because I wanted to add some pop of color, and guys, look at that. I honestly in my dreams didn't think this is what's gonna happen. I absolutely love it, but I had some leftover paint. So I flipped the paper this time because I had one page left, one blank page, and this stencil was already, this page was already dry, or kind of dry, so that's why I could use the tissue to make a transfer. And so I am making a second art journal page. This was unexpected, but as I said, I had some leftover of the paints and I didn't just want to show it. I think I sprinkled too much on the palette, but I didn't want to leave only this flop of blue paint, so that's why I used, I think it's Blackcurrant, so I'm not sure, I'm gonna give you the name in the description box below, as I said, and I'm doing the same kind of negative stenciling. This stencil is called Optical Illusion. It's also one of my newest ones, and I've never used it like that, and to be honest, I never actually use stencils like that. I usually do this normal stenciling, and if I have some leftovers on the stencil, I flip it over and try to make a second page, but I don't do it, even this technique, I don't do it very often. And this is really very first time when I decided straight away to make just negative stenciling. Now I'm fighting really hard with the brush which doesn't want to cooperate and the paint which doesn't want to cooperate for a little bit of splatter. And I actually didn't like at all the splatter I got. So I decided to add a little bit more of the paint, kind of spread it around and kind of go, you know, with the shape of the blue blob of paint and make it a little bit longer and a little curvy, like curvy I think is a good word. So it's kind of like continuing the blue blob of paint. And I didn't finish with the paint. I had a lot of leftovers. So these leftovers I'm gonna use actually to make a third page. But this is gonna be a new video, completely new video. So, you know, just stay tuned. One day I'm gonna just post it, because the third page I made was really nice. And here I have these creatures, which I absolutely love. I bought them in Etsy shop. I'm gonna give you a link in the description box below so you can have a look. And I love them, they are so funky and so cool. And I use them lately quite a lot. And I decided to do a little bit of splatter. Of course, as you can see, I came back to the first page. It's maybe a little bit confusing, but yes, I'm working on 2 pages and you actually cannot see them because it's like at the back of the first page. I'm making the second one, so yes, it is a little bit confusing, but yes, I said why not. It would be much easier to make 1 video than 2 and just, you know, trying to put bits and pieces of footage together so it makes sense. So I said it's better to make 2 of them. Those are the Rub-Ons from Team Holtz. As you've seen, I added a little bit of splatter and a little bit of dots with the ARRTX, the same color, you know, I made I paint through the stencil. And now I am adding a little bit of Rub-Ons. I just didn't like the fact that the circle, the beautiful as it is, I really absolutely love it. The circle was kind of in the center of the page and there was nothing around, so that's why I add the small touches of orange. And that's why also I'm adding a little bit of numbers, because I thought it actually needs something and I didn't feel like doing stamping, because with stamping you can have a bad surprise, maybe, you know, you stamp too much or whatever. And I haven't worked with Rub-Ons for a long time, so I decided to go for Rub-Ons. And I'm just gonna finish the page with the sentiment, which comes from my, I don't know, super messy or really silly words. And this is the first page, completely finished. Very easy one. And just, I don't know if it was stroke of luck to make it so beautiful. The stencil is really beautiful. I really like it. I hope you're gonna check that out in my shop, because it's available in my shop, and you're gonna have a link to my shop in the description down below. But it's just worked to perfection. This is gonna be one of my favorite, all-time favorite pages ever. And now I'm gonna finish the second page. I'm using my stamp Once Upon a Time. And I'm gonna kind of keep the stamping on to the left hand side of the page. So where you have this blue paint, rather than, you know, on the other side. I just wanted to make a page which is kind of uneven, which is more loaded with texture and with stamping and with kind of like stamped embellishments, because I didn't use any embellishments on this page, but I wanted to make it only on one side, kind of. So this stamp is the second one of my stamp, is the one called Censored. I just wanted to use a little bit of numbers from this stamp and kind of make the line, you know, separating the 2 halves of the page. And for that I'm using now the numbers on the black background. And I have to tell you, the VersaFine ink is really cool for stamping like that, for a precise stamping. I don't even have to fight too much with the stamps sometimes when I'm not sure if the stamping is gonna be good. It doesn't matter if it's my stamps or any other stamps, I have to press really hard the stamp to the surface for a few good seconds to be sure that it works. But with VersaFine it's usually very easy, very straightforward, and the image is quite nice. And that's the third of my stamps. Yes, I'm using a lot of my products. First of all, because this is the only publicity I have, apart from other artists who are using my products and who are making publicity for me also. But also because I am kind of running, I'm on a very tight schedule, and my stamps and stencils are just sitting beside me, on the desk, you know, where I'm working. So it's kind of much easier also to just grab for them. But I don't always do projects with my stamps. A lot lately, I'm not saying, but not always. So be on the lookout, because from time to time there is coming a video when I'm using other brands. And for the focal point, I decided to use this girl, which I printed out on the matte photo paper. I printed it out from the page which is called pixabay.com, and which has free for commercial use images. I don't use them for commercial purposes, but I still like to have them free and to be able to print without any worries. And for this project I'm using my really silly words, and that's how I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna leave it like that. The sentiment will go here just under the line, or the stamped line, and here we go, the second page. The infusions are magical, and the stencil, really, the negative stenciling is just amazing. So here you go, guys. I made 2 pages. And I think the next video after that is gonna be a flip through of my finished art journal, butterfly art journal. So I hope I'm gonna see you in my next video. Meanwhile, thank you so much for subscribing, for checking my shop. I'm sending you big hugs, and see you soon. Bye bye.